All this week on Dateline Schools, been learning some tips and tricks and how we can help our children adjust to this new learning, our way of learning while the pandemic is going on, and then also make that transition back to school, hopefully this fall. And tell us all about it, my special guest is behavior interventionist at St Clair County RESA, Joe Zima. And Joe, you've given us some great light on how, about building relationships and ways that we can help our kids, especially with the learning process now and, even looking forward. But what our kids are experiencing, is this a signal of a larger problem that our schools have been experiencing for quite a long time that's now just kind of coming to the surface because of the quarantine issue?
I think the quarantine issue highlights a very specific reason or why we're experiencing stress, but some of our schools have noticed some increased aggressive behaviors, defiance. A lot of those behaviors are tied to kids that have experienced what we call toxic stress or ongoing stress or have been through traumatic experiences. Several schools have been dealing with that. One of the schools that we're working with at RESA currently, or were right up until we closed, was Riverview Alternative School in East China. And the staff there said, hey, we're really seeing this increase in kids exposed to traumatic or abusive events, and an uptick of some challenging behaviors because of that. So we were in the midst of a training series that looked at helping their staff understand what is trauma, how does it affect the brain and learning. But most importantly, we ended each of those training series with some specific strategies those teachers could use in the classroom to help alleviate that stress and help those kids be more successful with their schoolwork.
And I was going to say that, just helping to deal with that, take a look at our families. There's a lot of stress in most of our families these days.
I think, yeah, for a lot of our families, certainly going through the current crisis, one thing we all have in common is we have experienced an increased amount of stress, and that certainly affects all of our behavior. And there are some very specific things we can be doing to help try to alleviate that. It doesn't fix it. It doesn't make it go away altogether. But there's some things that we can use strategy-wise to help reduce that. And that's part of what our department does, is what are those specific strategies tied to reducing stress and improving the way our nervous system functions. And that's what we're certainly here to help do. Field phone calls, emails. We heard about how stress affects behavior. What can we do about it? We're here to take those calls and those questions and help provide those answers.
For Dateline Schools, I'm Terry Harrington. Dateline Schools is a production of St. Clair County.